People are over trans women in female sports, and it's about that time because this is what Japan thinks about all of our bullshit. And the Olympics is also now in full agreement with us. Welcome to another Damage Control. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe because I'm one of the only channels on YouTube that constantly calls out all the bullshit from both sides of the political spectrum in the culture war. And watch until the end of the video because I go out in New York City without a bodyguard this time, which was kind of scary, and asked people what they thought about this exact topic. New York Times writer said the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee quietly changed its eligibility rules on Monday to bar transgender women from competing in women's sports. And I think the fact that they did this change quietly speaks loudly on where we're still at currently in this culture war. People have woken up, but leftists are still gonna leftist. Of course, we still have people literally shaking and crying in their cars about this news, saying that people are bigots and we're transphobic.
These sports bans are ridiculous, by the way. Whenever people think of sports bans, they often think about things like swimming or weightlifting, but these sports bans cover everything from darts to disc golf to even chess and beauty pageants. That's how bad they are.
And of course, let's put some sad music in the background, at least in one of these, so people get in their feels about it.
To ban trans women and girls from the sport we love is not just discrimination. It robs people the joy and the belonging that comes when you're part of a cricketing community.
Axios reports the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee has updated its policy to ban transgender women from competing in women's sports in line with President Trump's executive order. The USOPC is committed to protecting opportunities for athletes participating in sport, the document reads. The committee will continue to collaborate with various stakeholders to ensure that women have fair and safe competitive competition environment consistent with Executive Order 14201. Keep in mind, this has been happening in different places in different ways over the last few months since President Trump has re-entered the White House. Remember, UPenn recently had to apologize to all of its female athletes that were forced to compete against males, or at least have males in their locker rooms. One of the students even posting an email she received from the university.
The university will be sending a personal apology to every female athlete who was forced to compete against a man.
As part of the resolution deal, University of Pennsylvania will adopt definitions for male and female consistent with biological sex, restore stolen records and titles to female athletes, and issue personal apologies to each impacted female swimmer. The Riley Gaines Act also went into effect this past July 1st, or the end of June, I think it was, in Georgia, also banning males from competing against females in public schools and colleges. Listen to what Riley Gaines had to say about this all.
The Department of Education this month, the month of June, declared this as Title IX month. Can you walk us through the motivation and the timing behind this? And I think what you hope the public and schools certainly take away from this declaration.
Absolutely. I mean, June is the birth month of Title IX, as you say, so it's a good time to raise awareness and call attention and call June Title IX month. There are, of course, other names for June that have emerged over the last many years, but unfortunately, much of that has come to mean a direct challenge and attempt to tear down what Title IX stands for.
And remember, even Caitlyn Jenner herself has spoken out against trans women competing in women's sports.
Trans women are competing against women, taking valuable opportunities for the long protected class under Title IX. And causing physical harm.
Many people have come to their senses, but a lot of people still are afraid to speak out, afraid of being canceled, fired from their jobs, being called transphobic. Fox News just reported that ex-ESPN host Sam Ponder finally broke her silence after being abruptly fired, revealing it followed her outspoken support for women in the trans athletes debate. So yeah, people are still getting fired for this type of shit. I took to the streets of one of the most liberal cities, we'll say progressive cities in the United States to see what people thought. Do you think we should ban trans people from playing in female sports? Do you think that trans women should be banned from playing in female sports? I know it's a nuanced conversation, obviously. That's where we're trying to get in the middle of it.
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Trans men, in my opinion, would be included in this. Because I know it's a hot topic now because Trump's actually placing the bans on things, right?
Yeah. I don't think they should be banned from playing in sports.
It's happening in the Olympics. It's also happening with young kids, right? With high school students, because high school students is different than elementary school because the boys are going through puberty differently.
I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be allowed, I guess. Like, I think that women are women, trans women are women.
Well, female's not a gender; it's a sex, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
it would be sex. It would be, to me, it would be a sex segregated space,
Okay.
like
I may not know
a
the
protected
right
sex. No, I'm just saying.
terminology, but
No, I know what you're trying to say, but I'm letting you know why I disagree with it.
I actually just talked about this with some of my friends. They're saying it's like an unfair advantage.
It is. It is, if they've gone through puberty. What if somebody like that guy right there, if that person identified as a woman, do you think they should be playing in female sports?
Absolutely. It's not like a threat to cis women.
No, I don't think they should be banned, especially because they do identify as women. Well, I mean, they are women. But I guess I do kind of understand the concerns when it comes to like just the biological difference in like strength and speed.
Womanhood is about acceptance and like competition in like a friendly way, and I think that trans women should be accepted in these areas where, at least for me, playing sports growing up, like those are some of my best friends and my best experiences. That trans women and trans girls should like get that same opportunity.
Do we play sports with our identities or do we play sports with our bodies?
Our bodies. Yeah. Our bodies. So, like I said, I do feel like there would be a difference.
Why is it always the black girls that are so fucking based?
I think they should definitely have their own category in sports. Absolutely.
It's every fucking time that I interview all these white girls, and they all are like, they never want to be canceled. Yeah, everybody should be included. Why do you think they should not be banned?
Because that's who they are. I think that's their expression. I don't know.
They're women too, or men or something. Whatever they identify as, like, as long as you can play the sport, you're good.
I don't want them to have that right to play a sport to be taken away. They should definitely have their own category.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
And I think people would watch that. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Same.
Do you want to hear an interesting fact, though? They actually did try that. They did a hockey thing. And guess who got hurt in the hockey thing? The trans guys, because they're females.
And I think
that's why they call me a TERF, by the way. So they'll call you TERFs too.
That's crazy.
Who am I to say? I don't know because I don't have that experience. So I don't think people who don't have that experience should be making judgment and decision about people who have that experience, if that makes sense.
But you do have that experience. You have the experience of living and being a woman.
Right.
Right.
I'm not a trans woman.
Right, but they're coming into our sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People competing who are trans are in the middle of their transition. They aren't just identifying that way. They're taking the appropriate drugs and medication.
There's like different levels to it, and like I don't think you compare like high school sports to Olympians.
Many of them, their chemical level equals that of the sex that they identify with. So why are we eliminating
that can be true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also true that if they went through male puberty, they develop bigger lungs, bigger hands, bigger lung capacity, bigger hands. The blood flow is different, right?
And there are women that are that exception as well.
It is complicated. It is. Do you play sports though?
Not currently. We met playing rugby.
I don't think trans men should be competing in women's sports either, because I think once you're a trans man and if you go on testosterone, I think that also gives you an advantage. Being on testosterone does give you an advantage.
I'm not sure that any trans men want to compete in
No,
women's
but I'm
sports.
saying there's a lot of conservatives that will say, oh, trans men are females, they should be in women's sports. And I'm like, no. I think if trans women have gone through male puberty, I think they have an advantage. I think if a kid, that's why we have intramural sports when we're growing up, right? Boys and girls are the same pretty much until they go through male puberty, and then shit gets real.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's why the majority of Americans are at least pro the Trump ban on trans people. I think if they had a different league, it would be great.
I don't really know what the solution for that would be. Like, I don't know if they should just make like a league just for,
Well, they actually, interestingly, they tried that. They tried an all trans hockey league. Do you know what actually happened?
What?
The trans men all wound up getting hurt.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, not all of them. I think 2 of them got hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which makes sense, because they're females. They're females.
It does. It does make sense.
Athletes in general are at an unfair advantage. You see some of these amazing athletes who are genetically just better than like me or you know what I mean? Like in swimming.
Like Michael Phelps.
Right.
Like that guy's got like webbed feet or some shit.
Yeah, and like their arm span is huge. Yeah. Trans or not, there's always like sports has never been fair.
But nothing's gonna be perfect, but we live our life based on averages, and if somebody is like so far away from the average, we should think twice about it, in my opinion. I'm against it. I don't think males should be competing against females if they have gone through male puberty, because that's where the real difference comes in.
Yeah.
You know, like I played hockey when I was a kid against all boys. I was the only girl. And right when I turned 14, 15, I said, like, I need to stop, because it started to get dangerous. And I recognized that as a kid. I recognized it right away, the differences between males and females, And that doesn't mean that I don't think trans women should be able to play in their own league. you know?
Yeah.
But I think we should keep female sports separate because I think sex segregation is very important for certain situations. Not everything, but certain situations when it comes to safety, I think it's a very important thing to talk, you know?
I could see that. I also know that NCAA does have rules about kind of like hormone levels and stuff. So like trans women that compete at least the college level have to have similar hormone levels to like a cis woman athlete, which is pretty cool.
Which proves that there's biological advantages because they want to have them at the similar level. You also have bigger wingspan, right? Bigger hands, bigger lung capacity, bigger hearts.
It does make me a little bit nervous because there's also like the conflation of racialization and gender. Like, I mean, there's examples of like cis black women who have higher testosterone levels that are being like dinged by these like trans tests. And I think that's a scary arena that we get into because then we started thinking
lesbians have more testosterone, gay men have more testosterone, and usually black women have a little bit more testosterone in them as well.
Yeah,
It's just, it is what it is. It's a
like,
nuanced conversation. No, it's a nuanced
because,
conversation, but testosterone levels isn't the only thing, right?
There's like a lot of equalness in sex and gender, and you don't really have to like put it in a binary like that.
When I was young, I practiced Shotokan karate very intensely, and I was 1 degree away from my black belt. We were going through puberty, and all of the guys were getting stronger, and I would lose all of the matches, the tournaments.
It's also wingspan, height, weight differences, lung capacity. I understand where people are coming from both sides of the political aisle, and I just kind of wound up more on the right in this situation. Yeah.
My confidence went down because I didn't feel strong enough. But I don't think everything should be co-ed. Absolutely not, because that's also dangerous.
And I would say in most cases, the biggest issue is that these laws aren't being created to keep people safe. They're being created to keep people out.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, as I said in the beginning of the video, to make sure you don't miss content that I have coming up. A ton of great content, by the way, a ton of more interviews. Other than that, I will see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye, bitch.